I'm gonna drink a little sip of this beer.
No.
Oh, this beer's gross.
What are you thinking?
Mistakes were made.
No, why did I do this to myself?
Oh no!
Go get another one.
Oh no, I'm just gonna chug it.
Okay, fine.
What you're going to hear about today is nothing short of a miracle.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Pub Stomp, a podcast about games, TV shows, movies, and pop culture in general. Every episode, we discuss topics that we find interesting. Come join our shenanigans.
Hello, guys, and welcome to Pub Stomp podcast. Today, here we have Mexy.
Yo.
And Tyler.
Hey.
And myself, Trigoman. And today we have a mini-series. We're going to be talking a little bit about mechanical keyboards, and we're just going to be going into the what, the who, the what, and when, and why, and all that shenanigans. Just a surface, skimming the surface, because this is a deeper discussion that we can go into. But anyway, anybody else wants to pipe in here? What do you guys know about this? What is this mechanical keyboard stuff?
Before we get into that,
that's right.
I wanted to do a small little update on the Apple Epic stuff. So, have you guys been keeping up with it?
Yeah, we did.
No.
Okay. So basically, last time Epic is suing Apple, right? Over not being able to go into the App Store. So Apple rebutted and says, "I don't want any Epic product on our Apple Store," which includes anything that's used with the Epic engine. So there's a lot of games that use the Epic engine.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
That's drastic.
No, it's called Unreal Engine, right? Not
Epic. Sorry, the Unreal Engine. So everything that's an Epic product, so Unreal Engine, any of the other tooling, their developer tools, they say we're also going to remove all your developer access. You can't do anything on our store.
Damn, that's a move.
Yeah. Epic's like, how about no, bro? And then went to the courts and asked them to stop that. So what ended up happening was, they wanted to go back on the App Store as well. So, because, that's a big chunk of money that they're losing. So the court started their whole rebuttals and stuff. And it ended up being, they can't ban all Epic products, so anything using the Unreal Engine and things like that can stay. And then, but they don't have to let Fortnite back on the store. So kind of both sides ended up winning there in a weird situation.
Or both sides losing. Like Fortnite not being on the Apple Store is a lot of money being lost.
This is true. So it's quite an interesting scenario. What I found more interesting is that they're going after Apple so much because as soon as this happened, Google also dropped them from the App Store too, from the Google Play Store. So it's very interesting how they're only going after Apple. I don't know what the play is there. They're being very vocal. They're suing Google too, but they're being very vocal against Apple. And Apple's released emails that I forget what they're Tim Sweeney requesting, a special treatment, all these things. Tim being like, no. So
because they give special treatment to Netflix, right? Netflix, they charge them less or something like that.
Not Netflix, Amazon.
Amazon, that's right.
Yeah, Amazon gets the less fee. But I mean, we're talking about a huge company like Amazon, right?
It's still, man. I mean, it's just like Apple has a monopoly over the Apple Store, so if you don't have your stuff there, then you kind of have a disadvantage. If somebody like Amazon can come and look, 10% instead of 30, they were like, okay, that's unfair, but hey, it's their company, their rules. I don't know.
Yeah. So now Apple's mad too because what's her name? Epic had a 60-page legal document ready to go the moment they said no. So it's kind of Apple was this was all planned. This is not okay.
I mean, Yeah, it's gotta be because they had that. Like they also had the that ad for the on Fortnite.
Oh yeah, the 1984 ad that came
Yep.
out.
Yep, that was like too fast. I was like, how did you guys have? Okay, did you guys have this ready, or are you guys just like so good?
Yeah.
We'll probably link that so you guys can see it, but it's interesting.
Conspiracy theory is it's manufactured feud because
Yeah,
popularity.
I know, right?
They needed publicity.
Yeah, they need to get that bump because Warzone is beating them. Dude,
Yeah.
speaking of Warzone, like, have you guys? I don't mean to hijack all these news, but I just want to talk about how, like, speaking of PR campaigns, that's the first time I've seen like an ad for the next game inside the game as part of gameplay. Does that make sense? Because I think I don't know if you want to explain it in Mexy, but I just saw videos of people playing it.
So, for anybody that's played, Warzone is basically a battle royale, right? And basically, there's no mission other than kill everybody and survive. So what they did is they made this special game mode that you basically had objectives. Like you had to find key codes, you had to find a map, like figure out some certain thing a map, and then you find a character on the map that's from the next game, and then he gives you a skin for a gun. And then at the beginning of the game, there's a timer running, and it says you have to do it before the circle. Most battle royales have like the circle mechanic that gets smaller and smaller.
But not to mention, so sorry to cut you there, but not to mention, like before that, like they were also like when I was playing the game, they were like showing like static and within the game, like my screen would change and show me like a message, and that was like before this happened. And that was also happened. They were putting overlays and adding like extra effects to the video. Anyway, keep going. Yeah,
that's true. And they also like since season 1, so there's 5 seasons, we're up to season 5. Every season they started adding these little Easter eggs in the map. Like one of the first Easter eggs is they opened up a bunker and you could see like a nuclear bomb in the bunker and like very Russian nuclear like Cold War stuff. So every season they would add something new that would kind of make it like more Cold War style. Yeah, it would be like, what's going on? And then in this latest season, it's basically all unraveled. And so that mission ends and your screen goes black, static shows up, and then they show the trailer for the next game, which is Call of Duty Cold War, right? Black Ops.
Right. Yeah,
Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. Very long name.
Yeah, talk about engagement, right? Like you have a person like all the way engaged playing this like mini, and then like bam, you get the next biggest call to action. Buy this game now. It's like, damn, that's like really good. Like I mean that it's good marketing. It's one of the best I've seen.
Oh, and then on top of that, there was the influencer marketing that they did, right? So like,
yeah, that's right.
In between the new seasons, they would start like in the last 2 seasons, so season 4 and 5. They would send influencers like very customized clips of them. So like Nate Shot, they made fun of him for using the wrong gun back in like 2014. Tim the Tap Man was like, he always looks at his chat, and like the character like would tell him, stop looking at your chat, focus. And it's just funny, like things like that. And then in the next season, they started showing you like security camera footage from different areas of the map and things happening in the map. Like there's like a helicopter exploding, you can see a train moving, things like that. So like just the viral marketing for that was so good.
Yeah, because we were speaking about like marketing before, just this came to mind because it's happening now. So I guess you can pre-order the game.
Yeah.
And so
you're welcome, Activision.
You're welcome. Free ad right here.
Free ad.
Still looking for that first channel sponsor.
We'll send you the bill later.
Cheap.
They're also doing this thing where you can like buy the game on the PS4 and then for $69, and then you'll get it for the PS5. Is that new? I have never seen that before.
No, a lot of things are doing that right now.
Okay.
They're doing like the Xbox did it too. Where you buy the game and then they'll just let you upgrade for free to the Xbox.
Well, for $10.
One X or something. I think the Xbox is in it for free. I could be wrong.
Yeah, like that's why I left consoles, because it's like I buy the game and then if I don't play it, I'll have to buy it again on the next console. and because I'm not gonna dust off my PS3 to play a game that I didn't play. But anyway, that's different discussion. I understand the convenience of consoles, but I think PCs are much better for in that aspect, at least. Anyway, and how do you play games with keyboards?
Oh,
Ooh, getting better.
So we're back. All right, so mechanical keyboards. What are they? What's the deal with them?
it sounds like like one of those missing children thing. Where are they? Where did they go?
The missing children.
Somebody want to explain what a mechanical keyboard is?
Yeah, Tyler, why don't you tell us something about mechanical keyboards? I mean, we'll correct it. We'll edit it if it sounds bad.
Yeah, mechanical keyboards in general.
Yeah.
Like keyboards without switches that are rubber domes. That the contact is made by a mechanical switch. Hence, mechanical keyboard. I don't know if that's the best way to explain it, but most commonly we use like pre-built keyboards, code and others.
So your run-of-the-mill keyboards are rubber dome, right?
Yeah, like whatever you get in when you show up on the first day to work, like that Dell keyboard. That is that thing that weighs like nothing. That is a rubber dome.
It feels like you're typing on oatmeal.
Yeah. I mean, for the most part, I think. I mean, that's the thing with keyboards, right? It does what it needs to do. You press on a key and it types the letter, and that's it.
Yeah.
So the mechanical keyboards, like now we're talking. So the reason why rubber domes exist is because the costs, right? Like it's really cheap to make rubber domes. Mechanical keyboards, each switch is its own like input into the machine. So now you're paying for each one of those things. And did they get really popular because of gaming? Is that what? Because
they used to be the gold standard back in the day with the IBMs.
That's right. Yeah, they had the buckling spring mechanical keyboards. That's how they used to, and then they stopped making them because they were expensive.
Yeah. Then they moved to rubber domes, and then gaming kind of brought mechanical keyboards back into the forefront.
Because of the linear switches?
Linear and tactile, quote unquote.
Is that because of like N key rollover and that sort of thing too? Or is
that's
that
right.
I think you could still get N key rollover on rubber dome.
But it's harder, right? Because of the way the grid is done. Because I was looking a little bit into it. It's like there's like a grid on the rubber domes, and then each contact messes up the grid. So you can only get up to like not N key rollover, but like 4 KRO, 4 key rollover, something like, or 5 KRO.
Yeah, and then they're also more responsive, right? Like as we say, there's a spring that shoots the key back up, things like that. So for like FPSs or back in the day, the popular game where you would find mechanicals with StarCraft, right? So there's a benefit for a key to suddenly, one, you have N key rollover, two, a super responsive keyboard that, I want to select these groups of units. The faster you can input commands, the faster you are in the game, because they have the concept of APM. The higher your APM, basically the better you were.
Yeah, and N key RO is N key N, meaning like you can press up all the keys at the same time, because that's what N stands for, like all of them, right? Like literally. And then APM, actions per minute. So just to define some terms there for the non-gamer crowd.
So yeah, that's basically, and I think the other thing that made it super popular is like you would watch streamers and you could hear the keyboards, and there's something satisfying about hearing that click, click, clack.
That's right, because there's cool. 2 big groups. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say mostly it sounds cool and it looks cool.
Yeah. Well, because like I remember, like in college, like 2011, like Razer was the only one that was doing a gaming mechanical keyboard, but there were other keyboards that were not gamer specific. They were just like mechanical keyboards without like RGBs or anything. But there's the clicky and then the non-clicky, right? So I think the clickies is what got everybody into it, because it sounds like you're like popping. What is the packing material? What is it called? Air bubble wrap.
Bubble wrap, yeah.
Yeah, it feels like that, right? It's like every time you're typing, like blah 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 blah. Of course, it's annoying to everybody else, but who cares, right? You're typing, and it feels good. So
Yeah, who cares about all those people?
yeah, because my first mechanical was a pre-built with blues because of that.
I remember my first one was a pre-built with blues too, and I don't remember what it was. I think it was like a Roswell.
You got a Roswell? I thought you had a Razor.
No, I didn't get a Razor until like.
Okay, because you got a Roswell for work, I believe.
Oh, you're right. I did have a Razor blue, and then I got a Roswell brown.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah, and
some of my good memories.
yeah.
What about you, Tyler?
Oh, I had a crappy Razer, like rubber dome gaming keyboard, and then my Browns in this current keyboard that I'm still using, and I'm trying to move on from that.
Oh, you had rubber domes for a long time. I mean, sorry, I don't want to sound elitist. I just want to say I've had mechanical keyboards for a long time.
I think I got you into it, right?
Yeah, because I was like, whatever, like this is all crap. Like, and then I started looking into it. It's like what got me into it was the engineering behind the switches. It's like there's a bunch of gifs with showing how like the switch operates and works. It's like, oh dang, this is like actual engineering. It's like legitimate stuff, right? Yeah. So I was like, okay, let's get into it, and yeah. So
did I get you?
Sorry. Oh, you say it because I know what you're gonna say.
No, I said, did I get you into it too? I don't remember.
Yeah, I think so. I was gonna say I didn't get into it until we started working together, and then I started actually typing for a living, and then I realized that the crappy keyboards that the company gave us, they were terrible. So then, yeah, I got this code keyboard with Browns, and it was awesome for a long time. But I think we've evolved.
Man,
ascended.
Remember when code keyboards were like revolutionary? Like everybody's like, this is changing the game.
Yeah,
they're still pretty good. I think it's the main thing that separates the mechanical keyboards once you get at a different level is like if they have a backplate. If they don't have a backplate and they're just the switches on the actual PCB, it's gonna sound pretty cheap compared to one that has a backplate. And I think that's what the code keyboard or WASD keyboard also has, right?
Yeah,
because you can feel the heft to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's my favorite part of a mechanical keyboard, just the heaviness of the keyboard. Like, you put it down, it's not going anywhere. Like, it's not moving.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, anyway, that's what they are. I mean, I think at this point, like, there's been a big resurgence of this stuff because of the gamer culture. So everybody will at least have heard of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that the patent for Cherry MX switches expired, right? And that's what brought a new wave of customs.
I think that, and people started like stealing and cheating because like Razer started coming out with their own cherry keys, right? Like green and oranges. They were supposed to be like blues and reds and things like that. And then Logitech started doing it too. Because I don't think it started getting so popular that I don't think cherry could keep up with the demand.
Right.
For a while, they were kind of hard to find.
Yes.
Even the boutique smaller companies that are making these switches nowadays are baking in like anti-theft design measures to keep other companies from stealing or knocking off their switches. Yeah.
Ooh, so that's a good point, right? So now that we've transcended into mechanical, I think all three of us have now even gone beyond that and started going into custom keyboards.
Yeah. That's what we say pre-build. Yeah, pre-build is whatever you buy. They're good. They're not. We're not gonna say like, hey, if we're going from rubber dome to a pre-built, I think that's a pretty fair place to start. And if we sound elitist, it's not intended. We all started somewhere.
I mean,
buy yourself one, get a feel for it.
Trigoman and I have been doing this 10 years, give or take, on mechanicals.
Yeah,
it feels like.
Yeah.
So, like, I didn't even get into custom until Tyler started talking about it, and Trigo started talking about it in the last couple episodes, and then I was like, all right, I need to do this.
Yeah, man. I was in I was like kind of like a guilty pleasure, just linking just an RM and Reddit mechanical keyboards and watching videos, not telling anybody. Because I mean, it's a little. I mean, it's like too niche, right? Almost embarrassing. But I'm glad you guys.
It's funny. Yeah, it's funny how that is. You know, you're like afraid to admit. Like I was kind of afraid to even tell you guys. I didn't even know you guys would be into it. But I was just looking to make a quiet keyboard because I share an office with Carly now, and I was going to buy a pre-built, and it was like out of stock. So I kept looking it up, and I found out you can buy these like boutique companies make these silent switches. So I was like, oh man, I could build my own silent mechanical keyboard because I'm getting sick of the loud noise, clack. I mean that's what a lot of people get into this for, but I kind of want a quieter one. So everyone has their reasons to get into it. But
Yep.
So let's talk about what is a custom keyboard, right? Because we keep talking about boutique switches and things like that.
Oh, yeah.
That's not all that goes into it, right? So, like a boutique switch is one of the new ones that came out after the Cherry patent came out. So you have like Kale, Gatoron, right?
Mm-hmm. Box,
and then box shades, things like that, right?
Yeah.
And like people create these custom keys, the housings materials, the stems that the keys are made out of, the springs, all of that can be customized to specifications for each of these boutique switch creators. And all of that affects how the key feels, how it sounds. On top of that, if you add lubing inside of the housing, that changes. It changes how it feels.
Even the cases.
Yeah,
the way that the PCBs and the plates mount and the switches mount inside the cases, they have different sounds.
Different types of mounts, yeah. And then there's different types of like the keycaps. Like like that's
Mhm.
something that takes people aback when I talk to them that aren't aware of this community. Keycaps can be really expensive because good plastic is expensive. It turns out that the cheap stuff that you get on your normal keyboard is ABS plastic and like the crappiest ABS, and that's where you get the shine. If you use a keyboard for a long time, you start to see that your oils destroy the keycaps, right? With these like really expensive ones, that doesn't happen as fast.
Right. So like you can see like aluminum cases, right? You can see plastic, polycarbonate, even wood. I think Tyler, you were talking about wood cases, right? Some people are making.
That's really cool. Yeah. Bamboo cases and stuff.
Yeah. The backplate, brass, aluminum, some polycarbonate. So like you can literally customize every single piece of the keyboard down to the PCB, down to the wire to your computer, right?
Yeah, even the cable, yeah.
Yeah, even the cable, there's cable mods, and those they're pricey, but they look so clean. Like
I paid like $60 for one.
yeah. I'm looking into one. The only thing that's stopping me is that all my keyboards have different connectors. So I was like, I need to get like USB-C so that I can like get rid of all this crap, because that would clean up my desk a lot. Because it'll look like part of like it's on purpose. It's not just another wire on my desk.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, but yeah. So I guess when we say custom, we mean like you customize everything, even like up to the firmware, right? Like there's a firmware called QMK that you say like, you tell I want this key to do this specific thing. So
and you can make keys be macros, things like that.
Yeah.
Cool. Sorry, what were you gonna say, Ted?
Oh, I was gonna say and layers and macros and that sort of thing that allows you to use a smaller keyboard.
Yes. Yep. So let's talk about smaller keyboards, right? So what are the most common form factors for keyboards when you go into like custom keyboards?
60%, right? That's usually the most
60%, then 65, then 75.
Mm-hmm. Then you go to the more common ones like 10 key less and full size, right?
Which are much more rare in the
custom much more because it gets really expensive.
So like what is the difference between 60 and 65 or 75%?
Less keys? I don't know.
Basically 60, right? 60 you only have your alphas and your modifiers. So you don't have, and correct me if I'm wrong here, you don't have your arrows, your functions, or any of those guys. In the 65, you start to get arrows and some of the extra keys like the insert, delete, home, and end, I think are the page up, page down, whatever. You get usually
still no keys, right?
What was that?
Or still no function row, right?
Still no function row, yeah. and then 75 you get your function row back, and then TKL TKL is just missing the number pad. You're in full size.
In full size, you get like the
I
whole
think I got
shebang.
that right.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. So it's the most common would be 65%, right? And that's how you find most layouts.
Yeah. And I'm down for 65, but I don't know if I could go 60. I don't know if I can give up the arrow key.
Yeah, I could see that. So the most commons are 60, 65, and then the price just shoots up from there, right? Once you start getting into the more complicated,
Oh yeah,
more switches, because like the PCB changes, right? The size of the case changes. More switches, right? You're going from like 80 switches to like over 100, things like that, right?
Yeah, and I guess speaking of switches, like they can cost from, I guess, 50 cents to like, I've even like it's reasonable, like $1.10 or $1.50. I mean, reasonable, quote unquote. But there's like, I think there's some switches that go for like $5 a piece, which is insane.
Oh yeah. There's the retro old housings. People pay a lot for those. I think like the old cherry blacks or something. There's one switch that's like it's kind of antique or
because the first gen of the cherries were really good, and then like somewhere they started getting crappy. Because I recently bought switches. I guess now I don't know if we want to switch over into like what we're currently doing, but I bought the Holy Pandas from Drop, and I compared the switch and I replaced some browns, and the plastic feels so different. It's like the browns are almost like weightless, where the other ones have some heft to it, or they feel like they have some weight, and they're not as wobbly.
Wobble.
Yeah. So
those are like the most sought after switch.
the Holy Pandas.
I'll go into Holy Pandas and stuff that I read. So later, but so Tyler, I guess, was the one pushing first to do like he's the one that brought up keyboards first, right?
Yeah.
So like, what are you working on right now?
So I'm going the most intro way of building a custom. So I'm going to buy hot swap, which means you can change the keys or the switches out individually, meaning you don't have to solder. And the board itself is pre-built or partially built, I guess. It has the plate mounted and the PCB mounted in the case, and all you have to do is add the switches and the keycaps. So I found one from a company called Novel Keys. It's called the NK65, and I'm just waiting for it to come in stock, very impatiently, because as we get to, Mexy beat me to the punch and actually has one built. Sorry, I spoiled it. So I'm bitter. But then, so I'm waiting for that. I bought some temporary keycaps because I have 2 sets of GMK keycaps, which are like German-made, high-quality ABS keycaps. They're like the gold standard. So I have 2 of those sets on order, and I have a cable and a set of switches from ZOPC. They're silent tactile switch. Those are basically all my parts are sitting in my closet waiting for a board that I can put together. So, just waiting for that.
Yeah, one thing that we didn't highlight is that if you're gonna get into customs, because nothing is mass produced, everything's done by group buys. Like people get together, things take a long time to ship. Like
that's keycaps are, one is not going to be here until December, and it's August, and the other one won't be here until like Q3 of 2021.
Right. So you open your wallet and money goes away, and then you just sit and wait
and hope and hope they show up.
Yeah. Why don't you want to tell us about that, Mexy?
Well, I went a different route because I'm super impatient. So there wasn't a build per se that I was going for. I just wanted to make one because, again, I'm impatient. So I scoured about 12 websites looking for the parts because, like 3 was mentioning, it's not a very it's a very niche market, and it's all like group driven or community driven. That's the word I was looking for. It's all community driven. So, and it's all like basically there's like 12 people that actually own websites that do these, and then people like sublet from these, and then there's actually like only like 4 companies that do these things, right? And everybody else talks to those 4 companies. So I ended up going for a KVD. I even forgot what my thing was. KVD 65, I think. RGB PCV from KVD fans. I got a tofu case from KVD fans. I got a switches from Novelties Creams. And then I bought keycaps from Mass Drop, or Drop now, they're called Drop. And they were supposed to be here like in the next couple of days. And group buys struck. And they're not going to be here till October. So I pillaged 2 keyboards to make the caps fit.
Yeah.
But at least you have one.
This is true.
Yeah.
I wanted to make it done before this episode so I could talk about the pains. Like, it's a very interesting process. It's a hot swap board, so it's supposed to be easier. Hot swap meaning you don't have to solder switches into the board. You can take them out, put them in, out, and change them out as much as you please, assuming you're careful. Because we had 1 casualty of keys today.
No.
Pour one out.
Yeah, pour one out for one of the creams. But it's easy and it's hard. If that makes sense.
I kind of wish you were recording that first experience, because that's actually what we watch a lot of videos and they're super polished, but we never get like you getting it started and all the things that don't go well, because it's not straightforward. Like, you're gonna get all it's like, oh, it's 3 pieces or like 4 pieces, slam them all together, but nobody tells you like exactly what could go wrong, right?
Yeah, and as much could go wrong with me. Like, I put keys in and I didn't put them in right, so like I bent the keys. Stabs didn't fit. Stabs is the short term for stabilizer. So like your longer keys, like shifts, spaces, they have like these 2 stems on the sides, and just keeps it straight. I broke them. I didn't break them. I took them apart by accident. So like I had to learn how to put them together, put them on the board, and then placing the plate on top of it. That was another fun jazz. And then once all of that was working, some of the things weren't seated correctly, so I was messing with all that. So like, it's not hard to build a keyboard. It's just like, if you're not patient, you're not taking your time. Like, if you're just rushing through it like the first time, you're just gonna make mistakes. So
That's kind of hard
to tune it after this. Like, after this, it's still not done. You have to like tune it and make sure it's like all the stabilizers don't rattle, like all the switches sound right.
And that's one of the bigger things too, right? Like, now, like, once I started using this, comparing my keyboard to some of the YouTubers online, like, I hear my shifts rattle. I can hear like, I'm like, okay, now I have to leave the switches, and that's a whole nother process around it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool, right? Like, I like this keyboard, don't get me wrong. I posted a picture to everybody else in the where we're discussing it. It was 1,563 kilograms, or grams, not kilograms. Holy crap!
Like, what you buy a car?
Grams. So it's about 3.5 pounds. I don't know if you know this, but on a keyboard, 3.5 pounds is super dense. Like,
yeah, it's a heavy keyboard.
Somebody could die if I threw this at them. I don't even think I could throw it that far, to be honest.
It's aerodynamics. You just throw it like a frisbee.
I don't think that's true. But yeah, that was an interesting experience. So I'm excited for you guys to forget yours, because I want to see how you guys, don't mess up. Hopefully, like I did, being impatient and just throwing things together and hoping it works. But now this has afforded me the I want to build more. So like, I'm already looking at other keycaps. Like, I'm getting into the keycap thing, and the one I want to buy, I would buy these group buy-ins this week, and then it doesn't ship until May, I think. So there's a lot of patience involved here.
Yeah, so I guess you get your first little whatever to hold you over, and then just start buying stuff to get next year. if everything
Yeah.
goes
Yep.
well.
Because there's like a theme that I want to make. So it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. We didn't even talk about that. It's cool building theme boards. Yeah.
So we'll have more updates on that coming soon once we talk about things. But I think you guys want to cover anything else?
The only thing that I'm not building anything custom yet. I am using an Ergodox, which is a split keyboard, and that's why I got the switches for. But I'm waiting for you guys to build your customs and tell me what to get or what not to get, because that is something. There's just so many options, and that's why I don't also I have another one on Kickstarter coming in, so it's like I have too many keyboards. I bought a bunch of pre-mades before. I have 5 keyboards, so I just can't buy anymore right now. So I'm trying to get used to the Ergodox because that's what I use. And yeah, I'm excited to see what Tyler builds.
Keyboard, or are you gonna solder?
So sorry, say again.
Is the Ergodox a hot swap keyboard?
It's hot swap, yeah. The one I have is hot swap, yeah. So yeah, I already have the Holy Pandas on him, and I guess if we go into the hot take stuff, just everybody in the Reddit in the subreddit for mechanical keyboards shits on MX Browns, and I didn't understand it because I like Browns, and then I compared them, and then you can hear it's just like, okay, fine, everything's preference, right? So let's nobody get offended, but it's just the quality is just you can't compare, right? It's one is crap and one is good, and then I don't know, I don't want to say which one's which, but one's worth 30 cents a piece or 10 cents a piece. The other one's worth $1 a piece. But I don't know. Anyway, that's all I wanted to cover. I mean, I'm not doing custom anything. I have an Ergodox. That's what I'm working on. I want to get that split layout going and not get carpal tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Well, I don't know if there's anything else. There's I think current events in the mechanical keyboard community. I think Mexy alluded to the Holy Pandas. The reason why I bought them was when I first started looking at mechanical or custom switches that other than whatever I was used to, the cherries. There was a lot of drama around the Holy Pandas because it's a Franken switch, right? What they call it is it's made out of 2 different switches. So somebody figured out that if you take the housing out of one, the stem of another, and you put them together, you get a really good switch. And there's a term called original pandas, OG pandas. Anyway, I'll let Mexy get into it because he went into the history lesson as to what happened there. So that's why I bought them from Drop, but apparently those are not the OG. I mean, I knew that since the beginning, but anyway, there's more. So anyway, Mexy, tell us about what the history you learned there.
So this is from me researching and trying to understand. One, I wanted to understand why they're called Holy Pandas because Daryl kept talking about them, Holy Pandas, Holy Pandas. Why are they called Holy Pandas? So the original one is there was an Ivor. The company was called Ivor, and then they made a switch called Panda Switch. And then what happened is, how Trigo said, there is a or what'd you call it? A Franken switch, right?
Yep.
So basically, somebody took the Halo stem, which Drop owns, I guess, the rights to or something like that, and they put it inside of the housing of the Panda switch, and then Halo and a Panda, you get Holy Pandas. Yeah, clever, right? And then, so what happened was there was an original run back, I don't know the dates exactly, but there was an original run, and that's how you get the OG Pandas, or OG Holy Pandas, whatever you want to call it.
True OGs are the ones that people made, and you can only buy them from somebody else, or you have to make them yourself.
Right.
Then Drop had their own thing, and that was the first version or V1 of the Drop Holy Pandas, and they were pre-lubed, and people hated those.
And then, so they made their thing, right? And there was a big deal because, like Estrella said, they were pre-lubed. People apparently don't like when you pre-lube switches
because it's inconsistent. Yeah, but
that's a whole other thing to get into, right? And then So now they just came out with another like Holy Pandas V2 or something like that, right?
Yeah, that's what I got.
And then there's like all this drama around it because they're not quite the same, right? They're not made. So the original V1s were made out of palm, like the entire thing was made out of palm, which is a type of plastic, right?
Yep.
And then the new ones, just the stems were palm, right?
Yeah. So I don't. Yeah. So I think that the big thing is that they were for V2s. They were advertised as palm, but they were. Then one reviewers got him. Wildcat says on his videos like, "Oh, it's a palm housing," and then like it later turned out that it wasn't palm housing. So people are super upset about that. But at the same time, Glorious announced their glorious Holy Pandas, right?
Well,
Or I don't know.
we'll get into that. You're running ahead, right? So when the V2s came out, and then they found out that the housings were the same, Drop made a statement that's saying, "Oh, all the original moldings and whatever were destroyed, right? And that's why they're not the same." And then people are like, "What? What does this mean?" Da 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 da. And then in this last week, a new Holy Panda came out from the company called Glorious PC.
Glorious Gaming, yeah.
Yeah, Glorious Gaming, right?
Yeah.
And they created their own pandas, and they're calling them the Glorious Holy Pandas, or GOHP, or GHP.
GHP, yeah.
And then here's where they started claiming that they found the original moldings because they supposedly weren't destroyed, and they're using those moldings to create the new pandas. And then they started a S-storm of stuff because people started questioning like how they were making them. And then it started coming out that they approached other companies to basically steal their switches, and the original companies wouldn't do it. And it's just drama on top of drama on top of drama.
But they're cheaper. They're gonna sell them for cheaper. Apparently, no wait. You just get them whenever you want them. I'm gonna buy as soon as they come. As soon as they announce it, I want to buy a set.
So they showed like what you would call it, videos of the factories making the switches and all these things. So like people are even more hesitant. Like, why are they doing this? People are calling them out, like asking where they making the switches, because like the thought is that since Drop owns the rights to the Halo switches or the Halo stems, right? And for them to be called Holy Pandas, they have to have a Halo stem. If they're not working with Drop, then that means they got somebody to like steal the Halo switch molding, and it's just a whole like. Apparently, switches have a lot of drama in the keyboard world. That's the gist of the matter.
Can't get away from drama, regardless of the whatever hobby.
Yeah.
I mean, if you dig deep enough into any area, you'll find stuff that's spicy.
It's a spicy meatball.
Good callback. So, yeah. We'll keep you updated on that one because that sounds fantastic. And then there's other dramas with other switches coming out too. But as we delve into the hobby, it's interesting.
Yeah, I want some of those glorious Holy Pandas because now I have Holy Pandas I can compare now. So we'll see. They're cheaper too. These are so expensive. I guess I shouldn't complain because Tyler Zelios were more expensive.
Were they really? Oh man.
Yeah.
Your presentation was so much better. You got a nice box, and mine were just in a baggie.
Well, did you see Wildcat's unboxing of the drop of the Holy Pandas? His switches were like all over the place.
Really?
So I got lucky. Mine were actually still there. The box were on his box. They were just like loose in the box, so that's even worse because all the contacts could be bent.
Ooh, so that brings up a good point. So if you're looking into into the hobby, is there any YouTubes or forums or anything you guys suggest that people should check out?
There's so many.
Yes, but I'm not going to tell you.
Geek Hack is the OG place, but it looks like a bulletin board. That's where all the true source of everything is. Geekhack.org.
Interest checks are.
Yeah.
For like the group buys.
What's an interest check?
Oh, an interest check. That's to check the interest. That's to check the interest to see if there's enough interest to get a group buy going, to basically break even or make money on selling anything in the keyboard space. So, board, keycaps, cables, anything.
And I guess obviously Reddit. It's people say r/mk, but it's r/mechanical keyboards. Like spell it all out. There's a lot of memes in there, so that's why like the other one has more information. This one's more light, I guess. More pictures.
If you're going to buy stuff, there's r/mech market.
Yes, but right now because of COVID, everything's like insanely expensive.
Crazy.
So,
All right. Any YouTubes that you guys like?
yes. So I think I mentioned Wildcat. It's just like :3 and then ILCat. He's pretty good. He doesn't talk. He just shows you the keyboard. He builds it. He types on it, and that's all you need to know. It's amazing. I think Teja types is, I guess, YouTube and Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
That guy is the. That guy's.
He's
I
like
don't know.
the content creator for keywords.
Yeah.
He'll even build you one if you got deep pockets.
You got deep pockets. If you get, and you have to wait too. No, not just. Doesn't matter if you just have money. You have to wait. Yeah, he built keyboards for a bunch of famous streamers like was Mama Cutie Pie. What is that name of the
He did some for Face.
Tifu? Does that
Tifu, yeah.
Yeah.
Tifu is the one he got famous with.
Yep.
He's done from like Skara, if you know, OG League of Legends.
Yes.
I'm a Cutie Pie. He did one for I'm a Cutie Pie.
Yeah.
So he's legit.
Yeah.
Highly recommend.
There's a bunch of other like Glarses, like GLARSES. He does a bunch of funny videos about keyboards. It's kind of like it's basically a videos of RMK, like the memes around it, but I find it hilarious.
There's a lot of memes too.
Yeah.
But I would say start with those. I think RMK, you'll get whatever you need from there, and then you'll find the wiki on RMK. Can be out of date, but that's where you'll find all the small stores. Like Mexy said, if you're trying to find lube, good luck.
I found some.
Yeah, you found some, but it's like it takes a while. Like I had to go through a few stores to find one, and then when I found one, it still took a while to get here because like of shipping delays. So.
Also, Discords. I've joined the Discords for all the brands that I like.
You have?
So yeah, like Dixie Mech, Key Cult, Canon Keys, KBD Fans, Mito,
Okay.
who's the designer of one of the keycaps that I like. So
Oh, cool.
I joined all those Discords, and this is probably the first time I've ever gotten like into the community of a hobby, you know, to actually talk to people and ask questions and stayed up to date.
That's cool. I haven't done that. I think I'm on a few Discords, and I find the volume like way too high of like people chatting, but that's cool.
These aren't too bad because it's a growing community, but I think it's still pretty small, so
Okay.
it hasn't been too bad. But I mean, it's a little chatty. I just watched mainly their update channels, and then I popped into their other channels every once in a while.
Gotcha.
Or find a friend.
Find a friend, yeah.
You can hit us up at Twitter.
Twitter, Instagram.
YouTube comments will help you out too.
Yeah, if you want to buy a keyboard, I guess Mexy's notes already. He blazed that trail.
Yes, I really did. I basically got into the hobby a week ago, and I got lucky enough to find everything within a week.
Yeah, Tyler and I were like, this guy he wants to get keyboard now. He's gonna have to wait. Mexy was like, I'm just gonna buy whatever I find. It's like, okay, that works too.
Made me so jealous. I'm over here. I'm dying. I check novel keys every single day sometimes 3 times a day.
Hey man, you're gonna have a better keyboard. Think about that. I trailed.
I'm taking the easy way out a little bit because you actually put yours together. Mine's more. The first one I get is going to be more or less assembled for me, so it's taking the easy way out a bit. But I'll get.
All I realized is I want to build more, and it's an expensive hobby because I'm pretty sure easily this one keyboard is going to be like $400.
Yeah, you're definitely paying a premium, and that's one thing. Like, you can stay happily in the pre-built world and spend like at most $250, and you're still fine, and you can tune it and make it be okay. But once you're in the custom world, you're spending over $300, like not under. I guess you could do under, but you have to try, right?
I would be hesitant to even say under 400, man, because like
no, you could do. I've seen some builds over under, because if you don't get that aluminum case, you get something that's plastic case. You can do it, but if you get an aluminum case, and then you get like keycaps, and then you get the cable, and then you're at least 300.
The tools.
Yeah, but like I guess for us, we type for a living, right? We are always typing, so I guess it feels less bad to do it.
Yeah, I mean, people pay for good hammers, good saws, right?
But it doesn't type any better. That's the thing, right? It just like it'll a rubber dome, and it hurts me to say this, will do what I need to do just as well as a really nice mechanical keyboard. But
I mean, by that logic, a rock will hammer a nail, right?
No. You know.
Yes, a rock will hammer a nail, but it just feels nicer to use a better quality hammer, right? It feels nicer to use the keycaps. Like typing on a rubber dome. Yeah. See, that's what you're paying, right? Like
so you're getting the experience, and then if you get RGB, you look at your desk, you're like, yeah, I'm ready to do work. Like you wake up, it's like, I don't really want to work, and then you get to your desk, you see those nice RGB lights, and you're like, you know what, it's gonna be a great day today.
Or in Tyler's case, Tyler wants to make the quietest mechanical keyboard he can, right? Most switches, like cherry reds, all the common ones, they're really loud, even as even the linear ones.
Even the silent versions are loud compared to some of the switches that I bought.
Or it's not that it's loud, it's that it's acoustically it doesn't sound good.
Yeah,
and, right. Whereas like the pitter patter of rain is nice, but like the whirring of like something else is not nice. So I guess that would be the comparison. One is like okay sound, the other one's like not okay. So. But anyway, that's more like this is all subjective. This is the thing. Like there's some objectivity, but like for the most part, it's all subjective.
If you like the sound of breaking glass every single time you type, hey man, you do you, right? I say this because I use cherry greens and whites, which are like the loudest keys.
Right.
But
you used to use right now you're on the. I guess you're using creams now.
I'm using creams right now, and I'm already looking into Zelios V2s. So
yeah.
Now I'm in a rabbit hole.
Still waiting for my silent alpacas, which have the goofiest name of any switch.
Those are pretty rare to find too, right? The alpacas.
They are, yeah.
Yeah.
But there's a group buy coming up soon, or they're coming in stock soon. So
okay,
hopeful.
I found a recent one, right? In September, right for you?
Mm-hmm.
My scouring of the internet helped Tyler.
Yeah, it's like we don't need a scraper. We just have Mexy. Mexy bot. He just goes and like consumes all the things and like, here, you might want to buy these things. It's like, yes, I do.
It's funny because like the Live, right? It's like we can't find Live anywhere. Found like a website that was selling it, like little sketchy looking, kind of.
They all look like that, and they kind of half work too.
Yeah.
They're all like,
I'm kind of convinced it's the same guy that runs all these websites.
No. It's
They all use the same like shop interface.
it's
They
the
all-
Shopify website, so it's yeah.
It's kind of weird.
But do you know, like, what I like going on tangents? Like, lube is really expensive. Like the Crytox 205G, that's the one people use a lot. It's really expensive. So who's buying a drum of lube and then scooping it into? It feels like almost like drug trafficking, right? Because they have to buy, in order to make it like profitable. They have to buy the big thing, right?
This-
Like, how big of a container is it? A gallon of it? Like, that's gonna be like thousands of dollars.
I looked this up. It is about a gallon is about $3,000 or $4,000.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, because this is like this is like for engineering grade. Like, we're putting like lube they put on jets and like whatever, like really high machinery on keywords, for God's sakes.
They said it's like immune to solvents and stuff. Like
Yeah. So that's why like you have to be careful with it, because if you smear it on other stuff, good luck taking it off. But
It's funny when you think about it. See, I'll send you a link.
no.
7 kilograms, whatever that translates to gallons or whatever, is $6,000.
that's crazy. And the site that you bought yours off of is way better than the site that I bought mine off of, which was what I think Trigo sent the link once, and it's just like they didn't even try to be professional about the container.
Yeah, it's like the little. It looks like a suppository. The word that I'm using, the medicine that they stick up your butt. Yeah, yeah, it looks like that.
Container.
That is not how I would describe it.
Okay, fine. I don't know what you would describe.
I would describe it as a sperm sample.
Okay, you know what? I've never done that, so I don't know what that would look like.
But the thing is, you don't even know if it's the lube or like you really don't know.
No, you know, man, you know. If you are sampling like that, you should get yourself checked.
Hey man, don't judge me.
Freaking horse over there. Anyway,
Yeah,
so
maybe I'm
maybe
saving myself for the future. Okay?
yeah, maybe in the miniseries too, we can get into like deeper and talk about like specific switches or like specific mods. Lubing being one of the things that will make your keyboard sound good, and there's other mods that will make your keyboard sound good.
Yep. Sounds like a plan.
We scratched the surface on this one.
Oh yeah, we could go hours, I think, on this, because a week straight of me just reading, and I still don't understand what everything means.
Hopefully, Tyler will have his board completed by then.
I hope so.
Soon.
Cool.
Soon. All right.
All right, shall we?
See you guys. Thanks for listening. Bye.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening. If you like this podcast, please give us a star, heart, or leave us a review. You can follow us on Twitch, Twitter, or YouTube at Pubstomp Podcast. That's PUBSTOMPOD cast. For more episodes, go to anchor.fm/Pubstomp. Music provided by 99 Lives. Credits are in the episode description.